All right, yay. The experiment begins. A little bit late today. Sorry about that. Welcome, welcome. Please start by setting your timer to go off at 10 minutes to the next hour. I ask you to do this because in my dream scenario, you get so enthralled by, intrigued by, excited by feeling your feelings that you don't even want to come back and listen to anything that I have to say. That is truly my dream come true. So please set a timer for 10 minutes to the next hour. I'm going to set the stage, and then I'm going to make an invitation to you to feel your feelings. And after that, encourage you to turn the volume down on me so that you can feel your feelings without me distracting you. So first, though, setting the stage. The experiment is all about feeling your feelings. That is all that it's about. It's about feeling whatever feelings are available to you in this moment. The experiment is very weird. You cannot do it wrong. That is the first way that is weird. There's nothing you can do wrong over the next hour. Feeling your feelings and the experiment are not about naming your feelings. You don't have to give them a name. You don't have to name them sad or happy or big or tall or Hank or Fred or Diana. They are simply here to be felt. The experiment is weird because it's not about knowing what your feelings are. It's not about knowing why they are here or what brought them to the front of the line. It's not about giving them shapes or feelings or even knowing where they are in your body, although you might. They might take on shapes. I said shapes or feelings. I meant shapes or colors. They might take on shapes or colors or cool shit like that, or you might find that they reside somewhere in your body, but you don't have to. That is not the point. And this certainly, the experiment is not about making them go away. Although the experience many people have is when they feel their feelings fully, they get the sense that those feelings have gone away. I think what is actually happening is the feelings are integrating back into you, like a dislocated shoulder. When it gets dislocated, you are very aware of it. Once it gets put back into place, it goes back to the place where you're not necessarily noticing it as a shoulder, although it might be sore for a few days. So this is the other thing that is weird about the experiment. It's not only about the big, the bad, the scary, the gigantic feelings. It may be about the tiny, the petty, or the happy, the delightful, the joyful feelings. Again, it is simply about feeling your feelings. This is another thing that's weird about the experiment. This is not a discipline. This is not a practice. When I invite you to feel your feelings, this isn't about finding a feeling and then sticking with it and having lots of discipline. No, you will likely feel a feeling. You will feel it fully. It will integrate into you, and then you'll move on to the next one. So you don't have to stick with whatever you start with. You simply go with what is in front of you for as long as it's in front of you, and then you feel the next feeling that is available. Here's another thing that I think is weird about the experiment. Thoughts are totally allowed. It is not your job to find a thought and then ignore it. What I find is thoughts are a beautiful tray that feelings are delivered on. You simply get to feel whatever feelings come and have whatever thoughts come flowing through. I think thoughts are actually quite helpful, as long as you're feeling the feeling that comes with the thought. I already said this, but I'm going to say it again. My most perfect scenario is in just a few minutes, you turn down the volume on me. You get so engrossed in you and your feelings that you don't want to come back, and you don't need to. The whole purpose of this hour is to feel whatever feelings arrive. The experiment is always and only about feeling the next feeling that's here. Our subconscious or ego or something or magic or I don't know what perfectly lines your feelings up for you in the most perfect order. Whatever is always the next feeling is the most perfect one to feel. And I find it can be helpful to receive an invitation and follow that trail as long as it's useful, and then follow whatever is next. Again, please set your timer for 10 minutes to the next hour in case your feelings are just so groovy and fascinating that you just want to follow them. Okay, I want to do this now. Let's start with the first invitation here. So here is the first invitation to you. Everybody who's here today has been here before. And my guess is, well, my hope is this is not happening in your life, but it is happening in mine. And my guess is it might be happening in you. As you experiment with the experiment, you might be noticing other people in your life and thinking thoughts like, ooh, they might benefit from feeling their feelings, or they should feel that feeling instead of talking about it. Or maybe I'm just the only judgy one on this call. And if that's the case, I'm so happy. I'm just being silly. I hope I'm not being judgy, but I'm definitely having these thoughts about others like, oh, maybe they should feel their feelings. What I have come to learn is that is a perfect invitation for me to feel my feelings. And so here's my first invitation to you is to think about someone who either you've thought in the past they should really feel their feelings, or maybe they'll come to mind here. Think of someone who you think, they would benefit from, or they should feel their feelings. And then here's my invitation to you. Feel what comes up after you have that thought about that person. It might be an invitation for you to feel their feelings, or it might be an invitation for you to feel your feelings. We're going to do this one for 3 minutes. And boy, oh boy, am I going to participate like crazy in this one. So please turn your volume down and feel your feelings. That was 3 minutes. If you're back here, if you can hear me, if here's my first invitation here as we all come back. You may or may not, after or during the time that you're feeling your feelings, have insights. And I guess I wish there was a better word than insights. I'll say this. For me, often when I'm feeling my feelings, there'll be thoughts floating around, but there'll be one that's like, bam, it feels different. It has a more of a, I'm going to sound like a weirdo and I'm just going to go for it. It sounds different. It's like a bing. It doesn't have a bell sound, but a thought that has clarity. That's what I mean when I say insights. If you have those during this time or as we're coming here, write them down, even if it's something ridiculous. Like if the thought is cherry pie, well, great, write it down. Maybe that'll be helpful to you later. Other thing is here in just a moment, I'm going to invite anybody who wants to share their experience here. Whether or not you feel like sharing your experience, please, as you listen to other people's experiences, of course, do listen. The invitation, though, always is to feel the feelings that come with them sharing their experience. Is there anyone here on the call who wants to share their experience or has a question about how it went? And you can either wave or you can do the like fancy Zoom hand thing. Actually, if you do the fancy Zoom hand thing, I think, oh no, I can see it. Yeah. All right. There is no requirement that you share or ask questions. I just always want to pause. And I'm always afraid I'm pausing too long or too short, but I get to feel my feelings about that. Here's your next invitation. Please think of a recent idea that you had. Maybe it was an idea for work in your business, or an idea for a vacation, or an idea for how you want your life to look. I'm imagining an idea that feels in the land of positive stuff. Maybe it was a solve for something, or a cool freaking outfit you wanted to buy, whatever, an idea, a bit of inspiration that you had. The invitation is to feel that idea, to feel that inspiration. And again, the only invitation always is to feel whatever shows up. If you've got nothing, no ideas, no inspiration, no nothing to feel the feeling of not having that. But the invitation here is to feel the inspiration around a recent idea that you had. We're going to do a 4-minute, whoops, this is 5, 4-minute experiment on feeling the inspiration. Mm. That was time. For those of you who are back, who has a question or an experience they want to share, please feel whatever you hear. Please write down any insights you had first, but anyone have something they'd like to share? I can see a few of you. I thought I saw one of you about to say something, but I could be wrong. Nut bars, riding bikes. Who knew? What a great invitation that would be. Damn, fun. Okay. Um, Okay, here's where my eyes went. We're going to go here from the ridiculous to this one. Here's the invitation. Go back to a time that you were scared. Might be recent, might be long, long time ago. Go back to a time that you were scared and feel it. And I want to say this. You will not necessarily, I'm not inviting you to go feel the feeling of being scared. I just want you to go back to the situation where you were scared and feel the situation. Like a nut bar, there will be positives, there will be negatives, there will be lots of things that show up. And the only invitation always is to truly feel whatever shows up first. And the invitation here is to go back to a situation where you felt scared and feel the situation. And we're going to do short, we're going to do 2 minutes. That was the time. For those of you who are back, who has a question or an experience from that they'd like to share? Thank you. Those of you who are here today have been here before, and you know I always end this call with, please keep track of the evidence in your life that the experiment is working. And I was gifted an example of the experiment working in that one. And that, wow, that was a big gift. And I'm hearing a little bit of that for you, even though, right, it's a little bit of a look back. Hey, remember, like an invitation for a future moment. Yeah. Thank you. Any others that people would like to share? Okay. Um, Here's the next invitation. Um, the invitation is to open up your photos and randomly scroll through, and whichever one pops out at you, feel the feeling of whatever's there and just trust the randomness. You might feel the feeling of that photo and then have the urge to go to 6 or 7 other photos. Awesome. Or follow whatever feelings come with it. We're going to do a long one here. So you can play around in your photos or with whatever feelings come. And I'm saying long and short. I know that once you close your eyes, it might feel like an hour, it might feel like 30 seconds. We'll do what we call 5 minutes on the photo. Start with the photo and see where you go. You might go to other photos. You might simply follow the trail of whatever feelings show up. Starting now. that was time. For those of you who are back, who has an experience they'd like to share or a question? I'm once again learning the lesson that random is never random. Um, I'm compelled to share mine. I randomly picked whatever was there, and I got an image of Metatron's cube. Do you all know what this thing is? Let me see if I can find my. It's called Metatron's cube. It's an image that when you look at it and you relax your eyes, you'll see a whole bunch of three-dimensional shapes in it. And I don't know, that felt like, once again, the experiment teaching all of us, or teaching me how to teach it. Some people use Metatron's cube. Actually, go do your Googling about it if you'd like after we're done. So, and interestingly, I thought about using Metatron's cube as like the image to represent the experiment. So I'm tripping over here, folks. I'm tripping all the time on this call. I just pretend I'm not. So, okay, we have 6 minutes until all of our timers go off. We're going to do one more experiment and then we'll conclude. But I bet you're all just dying. Are you just all looking at Metatron's cube? Do y'all just want to take a minute and find it? Okay, let's just go with it. Okay, look at Metatron's cube. Go ahead and do all your Googling you want. Let me see if there's one actual the fact I wanted to share. How do people yeah, here's what I found that I didn't want to misquote. Some people believe that staring at Metatron's cube and letting all those shapes show themselves to you. Are you all seeing what I'm talking about with the softening? Okay, I can see two people. Hopefully, the third person who I can't see is having this experience. Some people believe that just meditating with Metatron's cube, or one might argue, feeling your feelings while looking at Metatron's cube, can cleanse negative energy, balance your energies, and connect people with the universe. That's what showed up. I love that the two people I can see are totally digging there. You're both totally looking at it. Okay. Let's play with Metatron's cube for 4 minutes. All of our timers are going to go off in 4 minutes. Let's see what you find. Look at Metatron's cube. Feel your feelings. And we'll come back. Okay, I'm guessing your timers are going off. If you set them in the first place. Wow, my shoulders got crazy. Um, who has a question or an experience they'd like to share with your hangout there with Metatron's Cube? It was wild. Okay, cool. I spent a lot of my time with it and then read about it a little bit like, oh my gosh, should it be the logo? Oh my gosh, maybe it should be if I'm thinking about it. So, any other thoughts or questions? Metatron is apparently one of the archangels. I didn't know that. Metatron shows up in Judaism, Christianity, and maybe, I can't remember the third religion, but a third major religion. He's an archangel. It's like, I think he maybe inspired the Transformers, but I'm just making that up. Maybe he's the OG Transformer. He transformed the people, right? And every other. Okay, now I'm just going off on my nerdiness, which I'm pretend that I hide, but I know I don't. Okay, this is the end. We're coming to the end of our time together here. Here's whoops, let me get to my sheet. So my last little pieces here to hopefully invite you off to another week of experimenting. So here are a couple of reminders for you. With the experiment, there is no practice. This isn't a discipline. This is about experimenting. It's about noticing when life delivers you an opportunity to feel your feelings. This might be positive. This might be negative. It might be big. It might be small. It might be petty. It might be silly. It's simply about first noticing the invitations that life gives you, whether it's an idea to ride a bike or something horrible happening to your home or a picture that shows up. So noticing those invitations and then taking them as often as you can or as little as you do, whatever. For me, doing the experiment here with you is so powerful. Doing it with other people is so powerful. And also, we're making up imaginary excuses. In life, I find when the actual things show up, feeling my feelings in real time is deeply powerful. I also have 2 Marco Polo groups if you'd like to participate. One is a one-way Marco Polo where I invite you to feel your feelings. The other is a multi-way Marco Polo group where people share their evidence that the experiment is working. And keeping track of your evidence is really important. Doing the experiment is deeply uncomfortable to our egos. And so our egos want to tell us this is bullshit. So keeping track of the evidence that feeling your feelings is beneficial will be helpful to you and helpful to your ego. Let's see. I am trying out a couple of other ways to interact with the experiment. These are total experiments. I'm hosting a couple of in-person events and one 3-hour virtual event coming up. Actually, some 3-hour in-person events, one 3-hour virtual event to go deep, and then another weekend event. So I put those, I'll put the link in here. These are experiments I'm doing with just other ways to participate with this work. Whoops. And I'm putting it at really low prices because I just want people to come experiment with me so I can figure out if this makes sense. On that page, I also just opened up doing 90 minutes of one-on-one, if that's interesting to you. I also started that at a really at the low price because I'm just wanting to experiment with this. So please dig in or share with other people. I know being here on a Monday is wildly powerful and for some people impossible. So these are hopefully other ways for people to engage. What else did I want to say? Thanks for being here. Thanks for this fun day. I never would have guessed that taking 2 insights from 2 people and then mashing them together would turn into actually something so powerful. And I'm just so delighted to get to build the experiment in public here with you. And it's like massive highlight of my week every week. And that weird moment with that nut roll and the bicycle, oh my gosh, who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Only the experiment did. Thanks for being here. Please notice the invitations to run the experiment and run it as often as you can this week, or don't run it at all and completely forget about it. That's okay too. Have a great week. Or don't. Feel it while you have it. Thank you. Thank you.